very much.
So Mark from Courier X, thank you very much for joining us.
My pleasure.
Congratulations on your nomination.
Thank you, thank you.
So yeah, the opening salvo is always, where did this come from? What's the background story to this?
Well, that's actually more on the writer's side. Carl put this together. He always had a bit of an interest, I think, in doing... he always likes to cruise the webs and see what the controversies are, the conspiracy theories,
So he's
stuff
sitting there,
like that.
flicking through different stuff, yeah.
Yeah, and he was sort of fiddling through stuff, and I've only sat down and chatted with him a couple of times, so I'm not sure exactly where his positioning is on it. I think he's always felt that something was off about Flight 800, and so that was the genesis of this. Was working on. He knew that the anniversary of the destruction of Flight 800 was coming up, and so he started to do some bits and pieces of research online and
looking at some conspiracy.
Yeah, well, no. First, he went looking at just the normal coverage of it, and went, "Okay, that's weird. There are a lot of people here saying this, and there are a lot of people here saying that." And then he sort of dove into it. You'd have to ask him more on that. I was given the script, and I went over it, and I was like, "Okay, this is very interesting. This is a lot of fun. Yeah, I could do this. I've never done anything sort of like this before, and why pass on an opportunity?" And it seemed like could be interesting.
How much influence do you have on? You've got the written script. I mean, I know scripts are always change.
Oh yeah.
But how much of that was down to your vision and his vision? So did you go, yeah, this is workable, actually we're going to need to do this, that and the other? Do you get too involved in that?
I stayed true to the script as best I could. Scripts, of course, modified as time went on. This was about a 2-year project.
Yeah.
I hate to admit it, scripts and necessities modify because budgets change a little bit. Anybody who's watched the film actually knows that I appear on camera as a character, and the original intention behind that was, since we would be flying with a limited crew to different locations, easier to take somebody who's already going anyway, and stuff them in a non-speaking role,
and a lot cheaper.
And a lot cheaper. You get twice as much bang for your buck. So,
are you actually an actor?
No. Did I have aspirations to be an actor at one time? Yes, that was way back when I was in high school.
Believe me, I'd much rather be that side of the camera. I don't like being filmed.
No. It was very funny. I was in high school. I studied acting. I wanted to go to NYU for acting and still photography actually, and things changed. But what ended up happening was I went in to meet with Thomas. I live outside of Philadelphia. Thomas is living, I think, these days in Wisconsin. He was in New York City doing the casting. I drove up to New York because I wanted to go over some details of how we were going to handle some technical mumbo jumbo. And the casting started to go on, and I had taken the train up, so I wasn't going anywhere for a while. So I sat down, and I was sitting at the table with Thomas while we were doing the castings, and the actors came in. And
how did that go? I mean, were you actually involved?
I only expressed opinion on two actors, on the actress in casting. They were up between two, and it was very funny because this actually ties into why I ended up on camera. Was Thomas had me do a cold read with her.
Right.
So I was running lines with her. And
so it was never planned. She said, "Oh, can you do that for you?"
Yeah. No. She said, "Oh, can you do the cold read with this actress?" I went, "Sure." And I started going through the scenes and doing the stuff like that. And we shut down. And he goes, "Well, what do you think?" And I said, "Oh, I like this one over that one. I think she's better. She seems to be able to pull it out a little bit better off." And then he sat there and looked at me and he said, "Okay, on top of that, you can act. What happened? do you mind if I throw you in one of these parts so that we can?"
Oh, right. So it came out.
So yeah, it actually came out that way. He was like, I'm going to put you in this, and I went, yeah, sure. Sure enough, yes, I ended up with it in part of the film. Originally, the intention was for the character to, there were some. You can actually see it in the script. I don't want to give any spoilers away.
No, please don't.
About the film, but the character was supposed to, let's just say, he was supposed to appear in the background and sort of as if he was tailing our lead character. So.
Right. Okay.
So he was, originally when the intention was to shoot with the fellas in Brazil, he was going to be there. He was going to, you know, he's the an impetus for things that happen. Let's just say.
And how do you?
Discrete character in the background.
Sorry, I was going to say, how do you? I know you sort of touched upon budgetary things change, but how did you raise the capital? How? I mean, that must be such a grueling job.
Again, I was not the one who to be talking about this.
I'm sort of asking
Thomas
the
and
wrong
Brian
question.
really are the guys on that. I know a lot of it came out from personal, you know, friends and family type of funding, personal, you know, pockets. The crew, which I have nothing but praise for, and which is actually, I'll go on another tangent about what I feel is so funny about the crew. We all really did a deferred payment scheme. So
that's not unusual.
No, so that, you know, we went for a living wage. We all brought our gear. We all brought our toys. We all, you know, have jumped in with that way. So, you know, knock wood. I don't want to.
No, but quite often you have to, you know, and I get that, you have to make those you have to step up to the plate,
right.
don't you?
Now, of course, we would not ask. You know, there were places that the budget was, the crew, we all read the script, we all loved it. We said, okay, we'll do this. And what's very funny is you actually have, it's a smaller crew. And we like to refer to it as the old man crew. Because the youngest guy on our crew is 28 years old. And he was our sound guy. But everybody else, as far as the camera department, lighting department, grip department, we're all late 40s, early 50s. We've all been department heads for years. And I mean, Jonathan Bell, who was my indispensable right hand on this. Because not for nothing, it's kind of hard to DP when you're actually on camera at certain points. And he was, I mean, I'll say that basically he's my co-DP. I mean, not for nothing. He came in and we just, it was as if a bunch of old department heads, and we're all department heads, truthfully. I mean, not for nothing, one of our prop guys, his day job is Sesame Street. Right. So when Sesame Street's on hiatus, he was like, I'll come out and help you build a set. You know, I'll do that with you guys. Sure, it sounds like fun.
So he works for that 8-9 months a year or whatever?
8-9 months out of the year, he works for the Children's Television Workshop designing Sesame Street. The favela scene, the brick wall.
What a cool job.
Was actually, you know, pulled out of the garbage of Sesame Street, to be honest with you. We retrieved the flats. He called us up and said, hey, we're doing this thing. Do we need some brick walling? I'm like, yeah, why? He's like, well, we're dismantling the set, you know, because we're going on hiatus. But I could pull it from the dumpster if you want. And we're like, okay, sure. Bring me the walls from Sesame Street. We'll take those. So it was actually, that was kind of fun. But what we had is all of these guys who we've been doing this stuff for years. And it's as if we decided to go back to our 20s and do a whole bunch of guerrilla filmmaking again. Yeah. So you had a very tight crew. We're loading into subways. We're, you know, bouncing around on the airplanes. We're admittedly guerrilla filmmaking, stealing shots where we can, if we need them. Not for nothing. No airport wanted to touch us.
Seriously?
Seriously.
What, because of the equipment?
No, because of the story of the script.
Ah, right.
Nobody wanted to.
So it got round. How did it get round?
The script itself didn't get around, but
the story
I think the synopsis was available around,
Oh.
things like that. So we had negotiations going on with the airports to be able to shoot in areas. And
how did that happen? I mean, that must have been an absolute nightmare.
What? Shooting in the airport?
Yeah, well, to get the permission to do that.
That's not so hard. Actually, Newark Airport is a prime location in New York. They have an entire department for dealing with PR and film groups.
Yeah.
And the idea is you actually end up shooting their international terminal, and they schedule you for the middle of the day because all the international flights come in the morning, and then they have a lull and dead zone until about 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Oh, so from sort of 11 till 3-4 it's good?
Yeah, exactly. So from about 11 a.m. to 4:30, you can have almost a free reign. You have to deal with, there is the nightmare of nowadays dealing with TSA and stuff like that.
TSA?
Oh, travel security
This is because of course it's now got much more
right.
severe, isn't it?
Yes, they really they still want to keep the jetways secured and things like that. So trying to get a camera equipment and crew all through that, they get a little. Wait, you want to bring how many guys? And you've got all these crates and cases and. But needless to say, the Newark airport. Most of the airport shots were stolen. We snuck in and.
Oh, really? Done it on the QT?
Oh yeah. The shots on there are shots from on board an aircraft when we were flying that we did going from location to location. Mm-hmm. We just had sort of Ron sit there and I grabbed the camera from across the aisle and did this and tried to book kicked our crew members out of the seats that were next to him and sent them to the bathroom and just shot.
And how? I mean, is it possible? And of course, it's possible, but. The change in technology now, I mean, I'll give you an example, is my phone. I don't know what phone you've got. God knows. I'm sure shoot at least at 1080 just on your phone, maybe even 4K. But that sea change in technology that you've seen and been really close to.
No, I was trained on film. I attended NYU from 86 to 90, and I was dead on, and that was just celluloid, everything.
So when you see, I couldn't tell. I could tell up to 5 years ago, maybe, the difference between film and digital, even my own training. But now, you can probably... It's
still getting, it's very close.
There's hardly anything in it now, is there?
There's so little film being done. That's the first thing.
It's going to die in a couple of years, unless
yes.
Isn't it,
I think it's dying a slow death right now. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Unfortunately, I love celluloid. I was raised on celluloid. But shooting digital is much easier.
More convenient, cheaper.
Convenient, cheaper.
You don't waste film.
You don't waste film. Yeah, you can go through terabytes of data and not
just
have
wipe
to worry
and carry
about
on
it.
again. Yeah.
Oh no! I hate to say this. I still come from the old school. Everything is archived. So I've got.
Oh really? Even
sure.
I've rubbish, got. Digital rubbish.
I archive everything, but that just becomes from the nature of being in.
Oh, so you've got blocks and you've got like a data farm or something.
Oh sure, I've got backups. I've got all the original backups from the cards that we've shot over the last 2.5 years.
And what do you back those up onto?
Just hard drives. I just go buy raw hard drives, back them onto the hard drives, pull the hard drive out of my computer and archive it. Or I've actually got a dock.
They're so cheap now, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're so cheap.
And then nowadays you can buy a 5 terabyte drive. A 5 terabyte portable drive I saw at Costco for $150.
100 quid. It's amazing.
Yeah.
5 terabytes.
It's nothing.
I don't know how much storage. I know terabytes is quite big, but 5 terabytes.
5 terabytes.
And Adam was saying that you can now get. You know this more than I do, but these solid state drives now, so it's instantaneous access. I suppose. Right. No spinning platters.
No spinning platters. Those are a bit more expensive, but everything's coming down.
Dropping.
It's just dropping. It just drops like a fly.
So to your trained eye, if you see something now, let's use an example. What phone have you got? An iPhone?
I have an iPhone 6.
So what, 6, right? So shoot something, that's the latest one, of course. If you shoot something on an iPhone and top quality, the highest rate, how good is that now?
It's, oh my God, compared to what we shot before, it's leaps and bounds above. Your problem is that, when you get with something like an iPhone, it's got such a small sensor and it's got such a limited lens. Yeah. Don't get me wrong.
It's still fabulous.
It's still fabulous. The old statement of what's the best camera to have, the one you've got on you at that moment. That because you've got it with you. You can shoot. It's very funny. 15 years ago, maybe 20 years ago, my niece was just in school, and we decided. She asked if I would come down and give a talk to her school about working in the film industry. Because at that point I was a Steadicam operator. I was just making the turn.
That's got to be a cool job.
Oh, best job in the world.
Yeah,
you are just the stud of the set. That's all there is to it. Yeah. Unfortunately, on my first national 35mm commercial that I was DPing, I decided to do a handheld shot with an old 35BL, which was a 70-pound camera. So I had that on my shoulder, and I twisted just the wrong way, and I herniated a disc. And the Steadicam business went out the window. But for a good few years, that was fantastic. That was actually how I first met Brian. Was doing a shoot for him as a Steadicam operator years ago, which is how I ended up being on his list for DPing this. So they were ages ago that
So when was the last time we shot on celluloid?
The last time I shot on celluloid myself?
For a film or short?
For a film. Okay, that would have been, let's see, my son is 8 years old now, so it would probably be about 8 years ago.
I mean,
It was just before he was born that I think I did my last 16 millimeter job. It was actually a Korean, a commercial for a Korean restaurant. Korean restaurant chain.
So really, you're a dying breed. So someone is looking for someone that can shoot in celluloid. A lot of filmmakers are coming through now. They're going to go, well, I've got no experience in that.
Oh, they've got absolutely no experience.
But you might get the call one day and say, we're shooting some celluloid. You've got experience. We need to.
Oh, yeah. That's, I mean, the funny thing was...
flick back into? It wouldn't be a
problem. Oh, not a problem. Because not for nothing, the digital cameras these days have become more like the old film cameras. There was this bridging period when you either shot film or video. And you're talking about the time of like Betamax.
Yeah.
So it was either, that camera on your shoulder or a film camera. Now, the video cameras behaved much differently than film cameras. So you had video guys and you had film guys. Video had a much narrower range of levels of contrast. How many steps of gamma it had. Usually it only had about 6. Film was running at 12. Nowadays, with the new digital cameras, since they're behaving more like the DSLRs and stuff like that,
it's astounding.
they've pulled that in. So you've got the same 12 levels of contrast, which gives you a lot of space to play with. You may say that as a celluloid shooter, I'm a dying breed, but the truth of the matter is the technology is catching back up to me.
Yeah, but the good thing for you is, because you've got experience in celluloid, a lot of other DPs won't have that.
They have no idea.
So you already know that if someone's going to shoot in celluloid, they're going to come to you, aren't they?
Right. I mean, they could come to me. They probably won't. There are tons of older DPs out there who are much more established.
But the point I'm sort of trying to make is they're disappearing, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be a point in time.
There's going to be a point in time
where they just no one would have shot on celluloid.
Yeah.
Very much like my son, or my daughter actually, probably a better example. She's 15. All she's known is digital technology.
Right.
So she's never seen a record spinning. Cool.
She's probably never had a landline phone that she had to dial with the rotary.
No, not at all. And my son is only known, he's only 3, he would have only known mobile phones.
Right.
And that's the thing, it's that sort of same, because that's evolution, isn't it?
Oh, of course.
And
that's the buggy whip maker. He was the guy who went out of business when the car came along.
Exactly. I mean, it just moves on and goes. But the digital, look, don't get me wrong, I mean, we've all got these fantastic mobile phones, and what we're filming on now is amazing.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, a guy who was in here before, and he was saying that he's shooting a film on, I think, 16 mil.
Mm-hmm.
Is his next sort of project, and he just said,
"Tell him to give me a call. I still own the cameras."
Oh
yeah, no. Well, the thing was when I started off, you invested in. I invested first in a Steadicam. I used the Steadicam to buy my first 16 millimeter camera, and then I used it then to pay for my first 35 millimeter camera. And the joy in those days was when you bought a film camera, you would get 10 years work out of it without a problem. You could buy a used camera and still know that, because film didn't change. Film still had the same sprocketing. Went in, you could have. I mean, my old Arri 2C, I'd put a new lens mount on it and a digital motor on it, but the camera itself was from 1962, I believe.
Wow.
And it was still working away. I mean, not for nothing, this is the same type of camera that Stanley Kubrick wrapped up in tape and threw out the window in Clockwork Orange to get that amazing falling shot. No people don't realize that.
Is that how he done? He just threw it out of a window?
Oh yeah, he taped up a camera, and when Alex jumps out the window, he actually just took this Arri 2C and launched it out the window.
Smashed the cat?
No, did not smash the camera on the first take. Did on the second.
Oh, okay.
So the first take is the one that was used because actually the camera goes all the way to the ground, landed sideways, and you can see the pavement going out. But yeah, no, he threw that camera out the window.
And where do you see it end? I mean, what's your vision of 5 years? Just 5 years' time. And can you still just tell the difference between 35mm and good digital? Is it really difficult to tell now?
No.
You can't tell the difference?
No, I can tell the difference.
You can.
But that's because I was trained for it.
Yeah.
Not for nothing. 35mm film still outclasses digital in certain respects. The reds, even the Panavisions, there will be noise in the shadows. There will be digital artifacts.
But that's only a matter of time now.
That's a matter of time. Yeah. I mean, right now you're shooting HD on 4K sensors. We've got 4K. We're going to go to 8K. It's going to be a wash soon enough. But right now I can tell, and you can sort of tell just because of the way that the contrast levels are different. But on the same note, like I was trying to say before, I'm sort of technology's catching back up with me. I think, and this is I don't mean to toot my own horn here, but with this film, we actually shot with many different cameras. There was, our primary camera.
But they're all digital.
Oh, all digital, of
Yeah.
course. But I came in and I treated the camera as if it was almost a film stock. I researched of each of the cameras we used, what is the sweet spot of the sensor on that camera. So with our main camera that we shot, 90% of the film on, it was 850 ASA. That's, don't dial it down to 200 or 300 if you've got too much light. ND down from 850. 850 is where every little pixel receptor is being used. So I just treated it as if it was 850 ASA film. I said, okay, we're going to just live in the sweet spot. This is the best performance zone of this sensor.
Right.
So that's where we're going to play. And as a guy who came out of celluloid where we were happy to get, 200 and 400, 850 was a godsend. I mean, that was,
And that's how
easy
much
to
we've
work
done with digital.
Yeah. We've just, these cameras see in the dark. I just picked up I went on a trip a few months ago before this one. I picked up a Nikon D7100 digital to replace, as a still camera. And good God, these things just see in the dark.
Oh yes, it's
You can, they have so much light sensitivity. It's fantastic. To be honest, yes, we worked with a reduced size crew, but we could go out with this. I would say this is more lighting setup than we had to shoot the feature. Well, no, that's not true. But you could shoot a feature with these lights or with even these little panels these days. And it's so nice to have the LEDs and be able to dial in the color. Whether you're going to shoot, as a tungsten balance. Okay, I'm going into a location where the primary light sources are all tungsten. Okay, I'll just dial this in to be closer to that tungsten. I can dial in the Kelvin temperature on the sensor, and you're done. Well, yeah, and to top it all off, you can walk on set and you can grab a 32-inch monitor and put it on the side, and you can see it.
Exactly. Yeah.
The old days, that was you. This is a sad thing to say about DPs. We had to be incredibly trusting. We had to know how the film was going to behave, because while you had video playback, that was just a video camera looking through the lens. And so you had to have a lot of faith in your DP. We had to know. We had a lot of happy accidents. I won't lie. Every DP will tell you, oh yeah, that was a happy accident. But we kind of had to know. We'd have all dumb little tricks like a little contrast glass. Go, oh, okay, yeah, that's gonna kind of look like this, and so. Truthfully, the sweat is off us as cinematographers nowadays, because we can actually see where we're going. And okay, if I get a good dense negative, I can see that I've got something good here. I pass this off to the colorist, and he can usually tweak that and almost fix anything, as long as you start with a good source piece. Your lines are open. And it's wonderful. It's wonderful.
Brilliant. Thank you for that.
No, my
really,
pleasure.
really great. Thank you.
I will share the offer with my man, but I can tell you he will say no. Tell Walter I call him. So what is it that you need? So candid, yet so deceitful.